the Album Concept Hour. The Album Concept Hour. It's the Album Concept Hour.
Welcome, everybody, to the Album Concept Hour podcast. We are here another week for another concept album. And boy, do we have a concept album for you today. This one's a real Paxo Wallop, I was saying when I described it. It's a real heavy one that we're going to cover. It's Against Me's Transgender Dysphoria Blues. And I'm Brad. I have my co-host with me, Dave. How's it going, Dave?
What's going on?
And we got John over there. How you doing, John?
Oh, just chilling like a villain.
And then we have a very special guest on the podcast to walk us through this Against Me album. This is my friend from the Hollywood Handbook Discord, where all of my best friends come from. This is Siobhan from the Have a Nice Apodcalypse podcast, which I've been told is a Sutherland Tales podcast. Is that right?
Southland Tales, yes.
Southland Tales. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Is Sutherland Tales a thing? What am I thinking?
Not that I know of. I think there's a.
We just created a new podcast.
Okay.
I think there's a band called Southland Tales, actually. They're like a rap group. I haven't looked into them, but.
Oh, okay. Maybe that could be a future. After you run out of material for the movie, you can move on to that band.
Sure.
But yeah, I only heard. I was only able to hear a little bit of it. You were doing the commentary of the first the movie, and then from what I understand, you go so many minutes by so many minutes of the movie.
Yeah, we split up the movie into different chapters.
Yeah.
And really dive into them, part by part.
I know that this is probably a thing that you get asked a lot, but why Southland Tales?
It is my favorite movie, and it is an incredibly dense movie that is confounding. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but
I haven't. But hearing you guys talk about it was like, man, I think I need to see this movie.
It's a very complex movie that has 100 different plot lines happening all at once in the background, stuff that it takes multiple viewings to even start to make sense of. And it's this big, epic 2.5 hour movie that it feels like a miracle that it got made. It's something that just feels like it's from another dimension. I don't know how it's possible that this movie exists, that stars The Rock and Sarah Michelle Gellar and tons of different weird SNL comedians like Sherry O'Terry and John Lovitz.
Dave was looking up the cast list.
It was incredible. My God, it just keeps going.
Yeah, it doesn't stop.
And it's bizarre. And they use them against type. John Lovitz is playing an ultra serious role where he's playing a racist cop with bleached blonde hair, and it's such a bizarre film.
Wow. Okay.
There's just so much to dig into there. It has been a worthwhile journey. Even 2.5 years into doing this stupid ass show, we're finding new shit out about it all the time.
Yeah. I'm amazed because that's something, if you're creating something, you're always worried about running out of material, but you guys seem to crack the formula
somehow.
But so I reached out to some people on the Hollywood Handbook Discord. Just was like, hey, anybody out there got podcasts, want to talk on mic about some music, hit me up. And you did hit me up and picked I think you had several picks, but this is what we landed on: Transgender Dysphoria Blues. And this is just do a little table dressing. This is from Against Me, the lead singer being Laura Jane Grace, who transitioned in 2012 or came out in 2012. I'm not sure when the deets. But Laura Jane Grace is one of the more, I guess, prominent trans figures, at least in the punk scene. So I just wanted to ask, why this album, Against Me, Transgender Dysphoria Blues, And tell me a little bit about your relationship with this album.
Yeah, so I came out as trans just this year, like early in January or February or so.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a friend of mine one night when I was like really dysphoric, and she told me about this album that she likes to listen to. She describes it as like a rain jacket that like you can put on and like know that somebody else is feeling the same pain that you have. And I listened to it and I really became obsessed with it, and like it is a new favorite album of mine. I think the first day that she told me to listen to it, I listened to it like 5 times in a row, which is really easy to do. It's a half-hour album. But
that's nice about the 10-track punk albums. You can just roll into the first track again.
2 to 3 minute songs in and out. It's perfect. But yeah, it's something that I listen to constantly whenever I'm feeling down or depressed or whatever. Like it is a constant for me that I can always come back to. And it makes me feel if not better, at least understood, if that makes any sense. And that's a good feeling.
It's so raw and honest, you know. It doesn't hold back any punches when it comes to discussing you know, the elephant in the room, I guess. Because like, you know, Against Me, you know, had received flack from like all sides for different reasons throughout the years. You know, and there's a little bit of that in here, and then a little bit of just kind of addressing the kind of toxicity in like the punk ethos in general. You know what I mean?
And I didn't know anything. I'd never even heard of the band. Like if I had, it was probably like reading like a lineup or whatever of Warped Tour. But and my eyes glazed over them because I was looking at Blink-182. But
that was probably me as well in those days.
Yeah, I know, right? But they are a band that I really wish I knew about, especially in 2014. If I had this album, like how it could have possibly changed my life completely. But the more I learned about the album and how contentious they were, I really had no clue they were kind of this like weird pariah in the punk scene.
I didn't understand that either until like I just saw an interview before this, like where she was actually just describing it verbatim, like what happened, like step by step, like who was mad at them when, you know, essentially.
And
for what reason.
I read in preparation for this show, and it's just because I wanted to, I read her Laura Jane Grace's memoir. Which is basically like a band history, and then like it's like 80% like band tour history, and then like 20% like her own feelings and her transition and stuff. And it's a really good read if you're a fan of the band or interested in them, and then it's got this really great personal stuff in it. But it's called Tranny: Confessions of Punk Rock's Most Infamous Anarchist Sellout. And she talks about...
Good title.
So like, it is. When they got signed to like their first record label in like 2004 or so, like basically from then on, like the entire punk scene hated them. Like every single show they played, the way that she describes it, like she was constantly getting bullshit from fans of like that they sold out and all that. Like people actually protesting their shows and shit. Like protest, full on protest.
To which, like, I think one of the responses she had was like, "Go protest war or something." Like, you know, there's more important things to protest about. You know, which is, you know, totally legit. So there's a lot of this weird baggage that they somehow were burdened with, being the kind of acoustic punk rockers or whatever, and just I don't know. There's just a lot of things that they have a good reason to have like a chip on their shoulder for in the punk scene. I remember, like, for me, this was probably the first trans person I was like aware of, I think, because I think I heard the news about it like back in 2012 when they came out, and like as a a straight heterosexual dude, like I was not well educated in that circle yet, and so like this was like kind of the first time I was like, oh, the lead singer just is is different now, and like it was a very interesting thing to me, but not something I looked too deeply into at the time. So kind of I guess a forerunner to the kind of a current push, at least, to like normalize and help people be able to be out and be okay.
Yeah, it's definitely like. Not that it was like, even though it wasn't super long ago, it's less than 10 years ago. It's still like before its time.
Yeah,
right?
It feels like a long time ago. Like, it's weird how far ago that seems.
But still, it's like a weirdly before its time thing for something that only happened 9 years ago. Like if it happened today, it would not. I don't know. It probably would still make as many waves, wouldn't it?
It would make waves, but it wouldn't. It might not be as like just cutting edge.
They would make different waves.
It probably wouldn't hit as hard. Be like, oh,
yeah,
it wouldn't be a groundbreaking, but it'd be definitely a buzz.
It's still
like it would go
honest.
around.
Yeah, it's still a very honest. Like,
well, I mean, the one
larger
song
outcry against it, I think.
Yeah. Weirdly, actually, now there would be a bigger outcry. Is that what you were saying? There would be a bigger outcry now.
Yes. Yeah. Like a bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's sad that's the way we're at right now. Yeah. I'm sure we'll get into a little bit of that as we're discussing this album, because
for sure
they get right into it with the first track, Transgender Dysphoria Blues, and they're not leaving anything off the table. Here's Transgender Dysphoria Blues. Oh, I should say a little trigger warning. There's there's some slurs in here, but she does
not pull a single punch. She is absolutely going for it, using her own lived experience.
Exactly. It's an instance where that is
people get to use that word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's very like because that's the kind of things that are thrown at them sometimes. And this is such an honest, like, I just want them to notice the ends of your summer dress, really just, I don't know. I'm trying to think of another word other than raw, but
really just digs right in.
Yeah. Hits you right in the gut to start off with, and calls you out if you're one of the people that she's talking about.
Well, hold your breath so you don't catch the ick. I think we all know someone like that.
Yeah. I think we do, for sure. Especially, these days they're more vocal about it. Well, what do you?
One of the things I love most about this album is like, it's got this huge sound, this huge like production style that is like so loud and fun and like kind of poppy and like amazing to sing along with.
Right. Yeah.
Like I literally, like a half hour before this was playing, I listened to as much of this as I could, as loud as I possibly could, and I was just screaming along with it. So my voice is fucked up, that's why.
Okay.
Like half of these songs are like total fucking bangers that you want to sing along with. I can swear it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Okay, great.
Fucking A, guys. Come on.
You just played the word faggot.
Yeah, exactly. We did. Yeah. So I think we're okay.
Yeah. So, but then they all have these, like, as you're singing along with them, like the words are so cutting and messed up.
Yeah.
Like it hurts. Like I imagine it comes from a different place here, or hearing it, not, or like being a cis person, as you three, I assume, are.
Yes.
But, and for me, like, it feels like, even though it is harsh, it's still comforting. And I think I have that same sentiment for like a little over half of the tracks.
Yeah. My best friend growing up is trans, and I was not good about it at first, and then I learned to support them. But they were,
that's good of you.
Getting into that again at a similar time actually as this album coming out, but I don't think they were aware of this album at all. But a much different time to be doing that, I think. I just remember hearing all of the stories once they were trying to be their real self out in the world.
Specific lyrics like rough day on the coast, I wish I could have spent the whole day alone with you. Like, I interpret that like, kind of like, feel like Laura is saying that to me. Like, she is telling me like, there's nice comfort here.
Yeah.
Like, I know your day sucked, but like you can take comfort in my music.
Yeah.
And actually, lyrics like that. So her book Tranny is full of intercuts of like little interludes of actual journal entries that she kept throughout the years. Wow. She wrote in journals.
Those are probably powerful.
And yeah, they're the harshest stuff in the album, or in the book for sure. But like lines specifically like that, rough day on the coast, like that is from a journal entry from like 2002 or something. Okay. And other lines that come up throughout the songs, like it was so interesting to read her old notes and then see those lyrics that I was already so familiar with.
Well, yeah, to get to some of the conceptual kind of framework of this album, that's probably one of the most interesting things about it. Is it was like when she started to write it, it was about a fictional transgendered prostitute going through these things, and then somewhere in the writing process,
come out to the band yet.
Yeah,
and so that's how she kind of was like pitching it as like a kind of a way to very thinly mask it.
Yeah, and by the end of it though, like it was she was fully out, right? Because this is 2014, so this one took a while to put together because of I'm sure interpersonal relationships, whether they changed or not, which she gets to in some of this album. Along
those lines, I'm not 100% familiar with all of Against Me's discography yet. I'm going to listen to all her stuff, but again, this album's like I was only introduced to it like a couple months ago.
Yeah, well, that's one of the great things about concept albums. Sometimes it's just the one that kind of jumps out to you,
Right, exactly. But anyway, I've listened to their first like 3 albums, which are much rougher, much more of a punk, like obvious punk sound, like DIY, just recorded off of bullshit. Sound terrible.
Low as fuck fi.
Yes, exactly, low fi. She did get out some lyrics to like that hid some kind of transgender themes in them. Like,
that's what I was reading.
There's an album called Total Clarity, and on the titular song, there's a lyric: "In the journal you kept by the side of your bed, you wrote nightly in aspiration of developing as an author, confessing childhood secrets of dressing up in women's clothes, compulsions you never knew the reasons to." And It's very interesting just to like pick up on those little lyrics that are there throughout their history. But then they fully come out the front here through this. Sorry, a tangent.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we get into another track and then we can talk more about that. This next track is called True Trans Soul Rebel. Is this like is her vocals like AFI? Is that the vocalist I'm thinking of that she's similar to?
I think the Killers or something like that.
There's another vocalist that like this is reminding me of a lot, but so this is True Trans Soul Rebel. I think
this one's a full anthem. Right,
it's such a classic sound too.
Yeah, I mean, even with the chorus, like "Who's gonna take you home tonight?" That's like almost a classic. Like, what song is it? Is it Closing Time?
Oh yeah, Closing Time.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, could be a little homage or something. I like this line though. Does God bless your transsexual heart? True Trans Soul Rebel. It's a very especially if you have any sort of Christian upbringing, that's a very loaded line,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
God loves everybody, but he doesn't love you.
Except ...
Yes, there are exceptions.
Yeah.
Something when I was just listening to this, that hit me is I love the drums on this one so much. Like the cymbals crashing as the chorus goes, it just hits so hard. And then there's all these great lines in here. Yet to be born, you're already dead. That is a perfect summation of coming out. Yeah, that is you can't write anything better than that.
Well, and it's I mean, again, trigger warning for some of this, but there's also, the suicide rates of, some people that go through the, transition.
The trans suicide rate is insane. It's something 50% have attempted, 80% have ideations. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly tragic, and there are a lot of suicidal references throughout the album, and especially on this song.
Yeah, this one's definitely the big straightforward one on it. You know what I mean? Because there's a friend that dies that he talks about in a later song, but I'm not sure the circumstances of that particular death. There's just so much, every line there's that's the thing. There's not a lot of wasted lines in this album, I don't think.
It's dense, and again, everything is just perfectly in place. And from the verse to chorus, it works so well together with the transition from the vocals, as you were mentioning earlier, the backing up of the bass and drums. It's heavy, but it's still it's a great poppy, and it's you also mentioned earlier, great to sing along because it's the structures. It's amazing. The songwriting is killer.
Yeah. The songwriting is just excellent all over this album. I think.
The visions I get when I listen to this album are it's kind of a dark dungeony club that only has a few hundred people in it, and they're all queer, trans, or whatever, singing along full volume to this song. I just get this beautiful vision of this great party that I want to be in.
Oh man,
where you just feel you're totally accepted. You can totally be you, and
Have you
I want that to come true?
Have you been to an Against Me show at all yet?
No, they're not a band. Are they still?
Oh, are they
around? I thought they're.
I actually didn't look at their current state, but
Their last album came out in 2016, and they had plans to make another album in 2020.
Okay.
But then COVID, and I think they just indefinitely broke up.
Did that end up turning into like what is it, Laura Jane Grace and the Devouring Mothers?
Oh, I have no clue, actually.
Sorry, just
which makes sense, because
perusing the Wikipedia quick.
Against Me is like such a weird band where she is like the only constant throughout their history. Like, people are falling in and out with like every album. Yeah. And they're going through the band was always in flux. So it would not surprise me if like she just like gave up, the name doesn't mean that much anymore, or like just do a different thing. Like, that makes sense. Maybe.
Yeah, because it does. I think the Wikipedia page also kind of stops around 2020. So, that's that's a true trans soul rebel. We got another track for you guys. Kind of continuing with kind of the sentiment of that like line, "Does God bless your transsexual heart?" We get to Unconditional Love, track 3.
Don't worry, I'm suicides. The vultures will pick your bones dry. Half digested and eternal, somewhere lost in the thermal. Welcome to the future and always ice cold nightmare. Burn copy and Percocets, yeah, this night's a roulette. Even if your love is unconditional. Even if your love.
All right, that was
those lyrics. Lyrics.
Yeah. It's pretty hard.
I just want to point out she rhymes eternal with ephemeral by just saying ephemeral, which I've always had a problem with that. I think that's
I heard that line and I was like, is that another way to pronounce that? I just kind of accepted it, but
you just have to accept it.
I think you're right.
It's silly every time I hear it, though.
Yeah. But yeah, I like it. It kind of turns the last song thing on its head a little bit. Like, don't worry, young suicides, the vultures will pick your bones dry, half digested and eternal, somewhere lost in the ephemeral. I think they could have just said ephemeral. Like, it wouldn't have been, a half rhyme.
Yeah, I don't know why bother, but
Now it's bugging me.
Yeah. Sorry for pointing that out to you.
No, you've ruined this album for me now. It's no longer a 10 out of 10.
Ruined.
Just for that line. It's like kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, almost way of talking about it, where the last one was a little more direct and kind of addressing suicide.
It's a bouncy hit.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it.
Yeah, it's a bouncy one.
Bouncy.
Yeah, I agree. This is like, if you weren't like, this is an album though, like if you weren't like paying too much attention to the lyrics, it's probably a light, fun, poppy adventure, pop punk adventure.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But yeah, you look into the lyrics and it's like, oh man, there's some stuff going on here.
Some deep stuff.
Yeah.
Not just talking about burnt coffee and Percocets here.
Yeah. And I love the line. Yeah, even if your love was unconditional, it still wouldn't be enough to save me. It's just like a very, powerful line. I think.
Yeah. Well, it's just a powerful chorus, because sometimes, no matter how much someone loves you or thinks they love you, that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and who knows what was going through her mind?
Demons and stuff, right?
What's up?
Like that. This is one of the more universal songs. Like this isn't really playing on, specifically trans people, right? Like everybody that deals with like depressive thoughts or whatever can understand that.
So everybody,
everybody. Definitely,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we do all struggle with wondering if people love us. Everyone wants to be loved. Everybody hurts.
Everybody cries.
Thanks, John. But yeah, so this is, it's a jam. It's real fun. And then this next track, I like the, the tongue in cheekness of it. This is Drinking with the Jocks. Oh shit.
Yeah, I love how like the part you picked. I think is so funny. Like,
yeah,
how
it's
awkward
just so
her
brazen.
lyrics are.
Yeah,
very brazen and very awkward, and like it's just this most true indication of like she's a woman. She does not want anything to do with guys or really know how they think. Like, look at all them bitches. Yeah, I'm going to fuck them all. Look at all those pussies. I'm going to fill them up with cum.
Yeah.
Like, nobody talks like that.
Well,
I guess I haven't been in the hardcore punk scene
ever.
I've
been watching enough porn.
Yeah. Right, yeah. This is like something off of like middle school playground or something, like just throwing stuff at the wall that sounds.
But they just sounds like this sounds cool or badass. Like,
They heard it somewhere. It's being filtered through a game of telephone,
And you look at like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm gonna fill pussies up with cum. Well, fuck. Okay, Jesus, calm down, Timmy.
Just calm down.
The fucker pussy. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette.
Yeah. But it's like, I like the kind of conceit of it, being an out trans person and like looking back at all of those conversations as a cis presenting person, and just kind of as a cis dude, I have definitely been privy to some of these kinds of conversations once or twice, and it always feels weird, like I'm back in middle school or something, and it's like, oh, there are still
like, all right, guys,
there are still people out there that are talking like this. Actually,
amazing,
swinging my dick in my hands.
Yeah,
helicopter in
that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like I was one of them though, like still kind of, yeah.
Well, that's just kind of like
distance yourself.
That's just kind of like goes back to high school, Sometimes everybody, sometimes you pretend, so you get people to like you,
or to
even if it's
you're just trying to survive in the social environment that you find yourself.
Sometimes it just feels easier to pretend to be that person, even if you're not.
The shithole that is high school.
Yeah. Like I've definitely, participated in some toxic masculinity, but I definitely like keep it to an absolute minimum these days. Only when I'm playing something like Siege or Call of Duty, I'll fall into some old patterns. But
understandable.
I
love that this song, it's less than 2 minutes. It is like the hardest like punk sound on the album.
Oh yeah. Shit, that is less than 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something like this weird kind of in and out thing. Like it's so just this weird kind of interlude, I guess, of being super angry.
Yeah, it's so aggressive. It's like if you didn't know the context or anything, it's just like so like, whoa, why is this? Whoa, hold up, why are you saying this in this song?
Calm down.
Calm down, man.
Like the early 80s, like that hardcore, like it's quick, it's like under 2 minutes, it's fast, angry, aggressive.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's why it's like, it seems like dumb to me that like the punk scene would ever be like so up in arms with them. It
is so
like, this
bizarre.
Is punk. Fuck. I don't know. But yeah, there's a weird gatekeeping in punk rock. Anyone that spent more than a few years in punk rock knows this. But we have another track for you. Speaking of punk rock tracks, this next title has a real punk rock title. Osama bin Laden as the crucified Christ. So here's a little bit of that.
You're gonna hang like Benito from the SOS.
Now this one's more about her anarchist sellout self. This is just like yeah. This is probably the most like I don't know, maybe directly political song. I mean, obviously it's got Osama bin Laden and Christ in the title. But yeah. This is like definitely one of those like I want a reaction from this. I want this is like trying to push the envelope.
You are poking the beast with this one.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's just so hardcore. Hang like Benito from the SO Raptors. Hang like Claire with her skull caved in. Like
fuck yeah. It's this thing of like I can relate it back to transgenderism. Like once you come out, like you're a pariah. Like we see all these bills being introduced today, all for like every Florida. Fucking state trying to take away rights, eventually lead to genocide. Like you are, they are going to fucking, the best that you can hope for is to barely live your life until they burn out your eyes. Like it's so
right
good.
That's
so fucking hardcore and good. Like God damn it, I love this song.
And it's true. I mean it's something that has historically been just not thought about and not like focused on as far as like news stories, what's on the mainstream news or what have you. Like it's like this violence that just happens to people behind closed doors, and now it's out in the open, which is even more disgusting. So yeah, if you're listening out there, get out there and do something. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but fucking do something. If you can.
If you're still in line, they can't make you leave.
Tell them motherfuckers to fuck off.
Yeah. Fucking fascist fuck off, I think is what they say in punk rock. Fascist punks fucking eat kick rocks. Something like that.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
All the cool kids are saying nowadays.
That's what all the kids say.
Kick rocks, fascists.
Kick rocks, fascists.
That's right.
Beat it. Yeah. And you just start to do the whole dance. But this is, all jokes aside, this is definitely a very like serious, like, issue, anti-transgender violence that is, only getting worse. So, help your friends out there, people. I don't know much else to say about this besides it's just baller. It's a good track.
Yeah.
And I think like
it's another example. Like she doesn't coddle you on this album. Like even though it is like something you can relate to, like she is fully being like, yeah, this shit fucking sucks.
Yeah. And this was, and again, this is in 2014 before most of these bills were even talked about, right? Like I don't know when the bathroom bills were starting to be talked about, but like anyway, it's just I feel like that's all I can say sometimes is just like so this next track we're going to do one more track and then take a quick break. This next half of the album is where it really gets like dark and very, very personal, and we'll get to it. But to start it off for the second half is Fuck My Life 666. So here's that track.
How would you even recognize me? I don't have the heart to match the one pricked in the finger. All things made to be destroyed, all moments meant to pass. I don't have the heart to match the one pricked in the finger.
Yeah, so
what do you guys make of the heart pricked into your finger line?
I don't know, the heart to match the one pricked in your finger. I don't know if I think about that one. as much.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the story of the song is it's essentially about her anxieties about coming out to her wife.
Oh yeah, that's this one. Yeah.
She was married to a woman named Heather. They divorced right after this album came out. Mm-hmm. But the heart pricked into your finger. It was a literal tattoo of a heart that she had around her where her wedding ring was.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's harder to listen to once you actually know the story.
Yeah.
I didn't think of this one as that sad before I started reading into what the hell it all meant.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the ones that was like, oh man, it's an aspect of transitioning you don't think about a whole lot. But yeah, that's the journey for some people. If you are doing it when you are married already.
Yeah, the marriage and like her wife worked on the tour as well.
Yeah,
and
it sounds like they were close.
They were living in a place that they were very financially unstable. Mm-hmm. They were living in a place that her wife hated. Like it was this all, and she was coming out as transgender. So suddenly the person she loved is like changing. Mm-hmm. Like her wife was like going through so much at this time.
Yeah,
and the weight of that is like all over this track.
Yeah. There's no easy way to kind of deal with that situation. I think you know what I mean. It's just a hard situation in general, and coming to terms with that is got to be hard. Because that's what it feels like. This feels like a coming to terms like song. It's like realizing that like this relationship might change, you know?
Yeah.
Real stuff. I was about to say real sad stuff, just real stuff, guys.
Will you even recognize me? Am I still the person you married?
Mm-hmm.
And then, all things are meant to be destroyed. All moments meant to pass. Like, just kind of this resignation to it. Like, this happens.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I like the line.
There's a great music video for this song. By the way.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I'd really recommend looking it up.
Yeah. I like this line though. No more troubled sleep. There's a brave new world that's raging inside of me. So there is kind of a hopeful, ending to it, even though it's like, a sad situation. It's like,
Yeah. The song's a resignation to like, okay, we're done, but like we'll move on.
Yeah.
Like I've got a whole new world to look forward to.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. So this is a sad one, and we're gonna get to the rest of this album on the next half of the break.
Sadder.
Where it's going to get even sadder. Yes, I do promise. The next two tracks are Dead Friend and Two Coffins. So
we are not going for the positivity here.
Yeah. They're not always,
It's that fun pop punk you always wanted.
Yeah. This is just fun pop punk is all this is, guys. We will see you guys on the other half with our guests, Siobhan, and listening to the rest of Against Me's Transgender Dysphoria Blues on the Album Concept Hour. Welcome back to the Album Concept Hour. We are here to talk about the last four tracks of Against Me's Transgender Dysphoria Blues from 2014. And I hope that you have a box of Kleenex next to you because you might be crying, sniffling a little bit, listening to a couple of these tracks. I don't have an intro for this track, but this is Dead Friend, and it's a tough one. Yeah.
Can't get more direct than that.
No.
Yeah.
Buried your body into the hard Oklahoma ground.
Yep. It's
Visual, you can feel that, like, that's a hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Laura Jane Grace's friend Pope, who also inspired the title of "Fuck My Life 666." They were a light designer that worked on the Against Me tour.
He was a lighting tech for the band. He didn't work for them for that long. Didn't end up being with them for that long, unfortunately. But like, he became like fast, like very good friends with the whole band, especially her. And they were rigging up lights at a show. He was 20 feet in the air on a ladder, and the ladder slipped. He fell.
Ooh, that's
broke his
scary.
Foot. Yeah, broke his foot, which is not something that usually kills you.
No, but
went to the hospital, and the hospital apparently started mistreating him for different mental issues, and they pumped him so full of drugs that they killed him.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that detail. That's really messed up.
It's incredibly tragic. It's
yeah. You see, like, when I read it, I assume it was like a longer, like, drawn out, situation, like an addiction, like after an injury situation, but that's way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's tough. And I don't know how much I can talk about this track.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It is really hard. And it's the most like raw emotional track, I think, or maybe the next one can combat it. But the
most real person I've ever met in this line. Such a good
26.
That's a great one.
That's a good
26.
send off.
Died with the light still shining.
Yeah.
I love her singing on this song in particular.
Yeah,
I think her voice sounds great.
Yeah, you can definitely hear the emotions that she is kind of fighting through on this track. Yeah, I mean, the last track says it the best. Goddamn, I miss my dead friend. So,
yeah, perfect.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, let's continue the sad train. This is Two Coffins in as the track 8. Yeah, here's that.
You smile at me, your little moon face shining bright at me. One day soon there'll be nothing left of you and me. Two coffins for sleep, two coffins for sleep. How lucky.
Yeah,
I love that acoustic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The stripped back approach was definitely the right one for this song.
Yeah. I think she really I mean, she's really good at the, standard punk stuff, but she really shines with something like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like just an old school I can almost see like this being like a Neil Young track or something, you know what I mean? Like an old school songwriter song. But yeah,
I'm definitely not somebody who's like zen about death, at least not yet. And
no.
This one really, like, it opens a big pit in my stomach. It makes me sick every time I hear it. Like, I ended up having to, like, I just put this whole album on like my master playlist or whatever, and then like every time this came up, I realized, oh, I hate feeling like this.
I know, yeah. Maybe I should skip this track,
randomly
just
make
this
me
one.
feel like shit.
Yeah,
so I had to take this one out of the playlist.
But
it's a really beautiful song. It's the little backstory behind it is it's her talking about her daughter Evelyn, who's still alive, but it's just like just processing that feeling, realizing, my daughter is going to die one day, and
oh man,
that's real.
We're all gonna die. Like that sucks. Right?
Yeah, dude.
And the only things promised in life: death and taxes.
Yeah.
I wish you'd stay with me.
Yeah.
That man.
Yeah. I wish you'd never change. Yeah.
And I like that she finds, like I said, I'm not zen about death. It seems like she is.
Yeah.
Like, she finds the beauty in it. Like, and I love that for her.
Well, it's almost like that line in that Flaming Lips track.
Do you realize?
Yeah. Yeah. That everyone
absolutely.
you love one day will die, but it's better to.
It goes from extremely
Save
sad
all
to
your
extremely
goodbyes.
beautiful, just back and forth, like a clock pendulum, just like bad. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, it's beautiful. And I'm like, and I'm sad. Like, no, it's good. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
It
Don't
tugs
quite
at
know how to
everything.
feel.
Yeah, it's one of those just complicated. Again, when you're talking about death, it's just a complicated subject.
I was gonna say, it's death. It's
Yeah.
like there's no right way to approach death.
Yeah, that's true.
It means something different to everybody.
Yeah.
It all depends upon people's experiences with it. And experiences with life.
Yeah.
Life and death.
Yeah, whole cultures are built on that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's it's got a lot of finality to it. Definitely don't listen to it if you're already severely depressed, maybe. But again, maybe that's when you should take it off the playlist. But this is next track we got for you is Paralytic States. And this one actually goes back to the kind of original conceit of the album, which was about being about a fictional transgendered prostitute. So here's that.
Paralytic states of dependency, all waking life's just a living dream. Agitated states of amazement, never quite the woman that she wanted to be. Never quite the woman that she wanted to be.
Her vocals are just so killer on this whole
Yeah.
album.
Yeah. Really giving it her all, it feels like every track in here is just so important to her,
Well, this is really her mission statement, It's right in the title,
Yeah.
Dysphoria Blues,
Yeah. Transgender
Transgender
Blues.
Dysphoria Blues. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like, again, like I was saying with the, kind of storyline behind it, spread out face down on those stained cheap hotel sheets. She spent the last years of her life running from the boy she used to be. Oh yeah, I like this one. Pumped up, her lips exaggerated, a fucked up kind of feminine. It's like a real, like, just a hard line,
Yeah, it's. The other songs dealt with this too, but like this reckoning of like, like even if I get there, am I really going to be a woman? Like it's something you just keep, you really just keep dealing with, and it's probably not going to go away. It'll get lighter, but it's not going to go away. And in her dysphoria's reflection, she still saw her mother's son. Like that is the most relatable. To the transgender experience.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah,
That's
that
right.
one being a concept song it's really interesting because it always felt a little like disconnected from the rest of the songs to me. And when I learned that, that was a really interesting thing to learn.
Oh, the whole like background of the track, or
just, the background of the track, how it was supposed to be part of a different album, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's really.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it is a great idea for a concept album, but
Yeah, it was.
it's like, it's a better idea for just sharing your truth, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad she went the route that she did.
Yeah.
And I like this one's kind of an ease out of the depression that we were just a part of.
Yeah. It's good that they did that for us in this album because it was well needed. Yeah.
It's like a nice little, they ease you into the depressing part with Fuck My Life 666 being kind of like being dour, but still, or thematically, but still kind of sing-songy.
Yeah.
And then Paralytic States, you can't really sing along to it as much, but it's lightly taking you out of that area. And then our next song like sends you out with like a final fucking another anthem track that rocks so hard.
Yeah. Actually, let's get to that. This one is definitely like the anthem for the whole album, I think. Here it is, Black Me Out.
As if there was an obligation, as if I owed you something. Black me out. I wanna piss on the walls of your house. I wanna chop those brass rings off your fat fucking fingers. As if you were kingmaker.
Yeah.
Just bump that in your car, turn it up as loud as you can, and scream along with it.
Dude,
it feels
right?
so fucking good.
Yeah.
I want to piss on the walls of your house. I want to chop those brass rings off of your fat fucking fingers. It's god damn, it's so cathartic. It's such this amazing release. It's perfect. Like what a way to end the album.
Because this like kind of even gets to some of what we were talking about before with like the rest of their like experience before this album being protested against, for getting on bigger tours and things, so it ties everything in a nice little knot, like little fuck you knot to those that would oppose her, but I like as if you were a kingmaker. That's a good, really, that's what record labels think a lot of time, or music, the taste makers, if you will. They think like they're the top shit. You gotta listen to what it's like. No, it's art. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I really like the clip you took though, but like because it's just a really great example of her lyrics again, and like her singing style too.
Yeah.
Like chopping the brass fingers off your fat fingers as if you were a kingmaker, like really just rolls right in. You're not really sure looking at the lyrics how that's gonna all fit, and then she just makes it fit, and it's really good.
She has a great delivery. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
As if you were my fucking pimp, as if I was your fucking whore. I love that so much.
Yeah. That weird gatekeeping they had to experience, and then the outro, all the young graves filled, don't the best all burn out, so bright and so fast, full body high, I'm never coming down, black me out.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then you go back to the first track and just play it all over again. It's a great album.
It's so easy to do. Yeah.
Play it on forever.
Yeah. So we got to a lot today, and I hope you guys appreciate this conversation about this album. There's like I'm gonna be listening to this a lot in the future for sure. This is gonna be on the rotation. And before we get out of here, though, we always like to go around the horn and find out what everyone has been listening to and what they have to plug. How about we start with John, Dave, me, and then we'll get to our guest, Siobhan, and we'll let you take us out. What about you, John?
Oh, I haven't been listening to that much. I've been at work a lot lately again, so I'm always at work. Just a lot of punk, a lot of 2000s punk in my regular rotation lately.
Nice. Nostalgia a little bit.
Nostalgia. Always like to get that going at 1 o'clock in the morning. Chug a Red Bull and then rock out to that while I'm doing my fryers at Wings, or something like that.
That's good. That's good. Doing work music.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
You gotta do something to keep me a little happy, right? Especially at 1 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would recommend Netflix recently released these How to Be a Tyrant and How to Start a Cult.
Oh, okay.
They're both they both
I've
talk
been meaning
about
to start a cult.
Yeah. They both talk about like some of the biggest tyrants in history and some of the biggest cults in history. And it literally, it's like 8 episodes each, and it's just each chapter tells you how to start a successful. It's a playbook, play by play.
Yeah,
how to start a successful cult and how to learn from your betters and their mistakes that they made.
Oh, right.
It's good stuff. Good stuff right on Netflix.
Produced by L. Ron Hubbard.
So you learn some interesting facts too.
No, that's I mean, those are always wild stories.
Yeah. Like the Washington Post was actually started by one of the biggest cults in the world.
What?
Yeah. I didn't know that either. Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Can't remember which one it is right now, but it's literally like the most successful cult on the on the thing. It was like the last episode. Right. It's crazy stuff.
All right. Well, you've piqued my interest about that.
Crazy stuff.
Okay. What about you, Dave? What have you been listening to lately?
Last week, just a lot of older emo.
Okay.
It was American Football and Appleseed Cast. Both got a lot of heavy rotation. Just same thing, like put an album on maybe 2 or 3 times and pick another one. But just needed to kind of some light grooves and just relax and just some melancholy music and just kind of have just helps sometimes through the day. Maybe there wants to be like aggressive and fast, or sometimes I just want to relax. So
something little more subdued.
Oh
yeah. You can't do Against Me every day.
No.
You got to switch it up. As for me, I have. Let's just say I've been listening to the band nonstop. I haven't, but I should be listening to the band nonstop.
I'm gonna have to
Robbie Robinson just passed away, R.I.P. But also DJ Casper, the inventor of the Cha-Cha Slide, also passed away. So
great song.
Listen to
Wedding staple.
Listen to the Last Waltz. Do a Cha-Cha Slide. Remember these great musicians.
Rock it out smooth now, y'all.
Rock it out smooth now, y'all. Everybody clap your hands. You know what I'm talking about. So we lost a couple legends. And then as far as what I'd like to plug, I'd probably just say, go on over to the YouTube. I haven't been putting as many out, but I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to edit these and put them out. That's probably not a good sell for the YouTube. Why don't you just ignore that last couple of sentences? Go to the YouTube. I'm always putting stuff out, and it's always good. Flyover State Park is the YouTube channel. And then what about our guest? What have you been listening to, and what do you have to plug?
Deftones.
Tons
of Deftones.
All right. Tight.
I got super into them this year, and they are damn near all I want to listen to. Just went on a crazy binge, and it won't end.
There's nothing quite like Deftones, It's a kind of
they got this really like Chino's voice. It gets me. Like he's one of my favorite singers.
Okay.
My favorite album, Saturday Night Wrist. So go play that one.
Saturday Night Wrist. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then your pod still you're still doing some Southland tales.
We are on a bit of a hiatus, but we will be coming back sooner or later.
Okay.
But have a nice Apodcalypse. So it's like apocalypse, but pod instead of poc. It's stupid. That's about the movie Southland Tales.
I
think that's clever.
I think it's a solid title.
I know, but for search optimization, SEO, not good.
Oh,
not good
right. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Album concept.
I know what you're saying.
That's perfect. That's perfect. If you look up concept album, they're coming to you. Anyway,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, guys.
That's what we were going for.
Hell yeah. But I like it. It's when you say "Have a nice Apodcalypse," it sounds great, So CEO.
It's funny. It's a silly, dumb show.
Yeah,
we really over-examine this movie. We've gotten some great guests: Vera Drew, Alec Robbins.
You had Vera Drew on. That's cool.
We had Vera Drew. Yes, we've had her on twice.
Awesome. I'm just wondering if I can get Vera Drew on post Comedy Bang Bang, or if they're going to be like, she's a celebrity now. I don't know.
I suggested her to Chef Kevin to get her on Hollywood Handbook. We'll see if it happens.
I hope it happens. I mean, you kind of willed Vera Drew into being on Comedy Bang Bang.
I did. I manifested that from my mind.
You absolutely manifested that on the Hollywood Handbook Discord. There's plenty of people that can verify that. You're responsible for Vera Drew's rise. Do you know that?
Heavily responsible. Yes.
Yeah.
Should ask her for some of the royalties.
Where's the
royalties for the movie she can't release?
Yeah.
And Alec Robbins, the comic artist, drawer of Mr. Boop. Anyway,
nice.
Fun guests and stuff. But you can follow me at Junkblader on Twitter, Blue Sky. Not doing Threads. Fuck that.
Oh, you're on Blue Sky, dude?
I'm on Blue Sky, dude.
Whoa. That's cool. I think I might have an invite coming soon.
Oh, I can give you one now.
Oh, you have one available. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Perfect.
I'm trying to XX. You know what I mean? It's just I don't.
Oh God, yeah.
It's,
X. Follow. Sorry. I said Twitter earlier. X.
Yeah. You got called by a proper name now. Otherwise,
I shouldn't dead name.
You shouldn't dead name Twitter. X. It's X. But give me that Blue Sky, and then I'll plug that once I get it, guys, because I'm gonna get it. I promise you. Thank you so much for being on an episode of the Album Concept Hour. I really appreciate it. A lot of fun. Yeah. I'll be seeing you on the Discords, of course, and thanks everyone for listening, and we've got to see you all next time on the Album Concept Hour. The Album Concept Hour is Brad LeBaron, Dave Gallagher, and John Aker. Special thanks to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard for the theme music. Join the discussion on our Discord, tweet to us at Album Concept Pod, or for everything else, go to Linktree/Flyover State Park. See you on Side B. This is Flyover State Park. You are clear to land.